big development in the process of Sabina Park's upgrading. We remember just a couple of months ago, Donald, you would have remembered a lighting issue at Sabina Park regarding a Jamaica Premier League football match. Fans were getting a little bit nervous about the possibility of the test match coming up with the Aussies. But these are different lights, proper lights, and the indications are that there's nothing to worry about.
Took them long enough. But I do realize that everything is in a particular timing. We do know that elections are coming up a little bit later on this year, but it's good to have that. I think there's always been, well, I've always had an issue in terms of how sport is actually treated in Jamaica. I think it's on the back burner most times, and I think the Prime Minister spoke to that at the ceremony where he said that it makes more sense to invest in grassroots as opposed to international tournaments, and he tried to argue against the point that sport hasn't been really a priority for the government of Jamaica. But it's good that we finally have these lights. I remember the first installation after a few games, we realized that those lights didn't actually cover the aspects of Sabina Park, especially along the boundary line. So we knew that that was an issue from the first time they were set up, but we were still able to play international cricket. Well, international cricket, regional cricket.
Well, regional cricket.
Yeah, regional cricket, not international cricket. And of course, football has been played at Sabina Park as well. So it's about time that the lights have been upgraded.
Yeah, and it's good to see. It's really good. And hopefully everything has been done correctly, and we will not have any issues when the Australians arrive here for that test match from the 12th to the 16th of July. Because the last thing that you want come July is anything similar to what happened with the Jamaica Premier League contest. And I suspect that there will be a lot of testing in the build-up to that test match, because then it wouldn't just be a national embarrassment or just a regional embarrassment. It would become a worldwide embarrassment. And I don't think as a nation, Jamaica can afford that at this stage. And Donald spoke about even the political aspect of it. It is an election year, and I don't think the governing party can afford for that to happen. So I fully expect that they'll pull out all the stops to ensure that everything is up to par. Great as well to hear about the scoreboard, that it should be in place by the 25th of June. So we're not far away from that. It has been disheartening over the last few years to go to Sabina Park, regardless of the level of cricket that is being played there, and you are unable to stay up to date with what is happening with the electronic scoreboard. I think the last time we had international cricket was the T20 series against South Africa, and there was against Bangladesh, the test match against Bangladesh, and you really had to be looking hard to figure out what was on the scoreboard. It was real disappointing. So it's great to hear as well that the new scoreboard will be in place in short order.
Yes, well, joining us now via Zoom to talk about this development, the president of the Jamaica Cricket Association, Dr. Donovan Bennett. He was, of course, present at the unveiling. Dr. Bennett, welcome to the SportsMax Zone again, this time to talk about something really, really positive. And apart from the floodlights upgraded and installed, the digital scoreboard, I'm pretty certain, Dr. Bennett, would please you immensely.
Thanks for having me, Lance. Yes, it has been a long, hard road that we have traveled, but I think we're almost at the end of it now, and a lot of the concerns that we had initially, I think we have now solved them, and we're in a pretty good place.
Yeah, and I saw on local television in the past 24 hours where the Indians who will actually install the digital scoreboard were promising that within a week or two, the scoreboard will be completely installed and everything will be fine.
Yes, the scoreboard has two sections. It has a replay section, and it has, of course, the digital scoreboard that gives us all the information. The small scoreboard is here. We have cleared it. It is at Sabina Park, and they should start installing that tomorrow. The other scoreboard, which is the largest section, just arrived in the island a couple of days ago, and it should have been cleared today. So that is why the Indian gentleman who is here and who will be joined by others in a couple of days' time is confident that by the 25th of this month, both boards should be up and working. These were not boards that were just manufactured and then put in a box and sent here. The scoreboard was manufactured in India, was tested at some IPL game, I can't tell you which one, to ensure that it was in proper working order before it was shipped to us. So I think it's just a matter of doing the installation, and we should be ready to go.
Yeah, and Dr. Bennett, as governing body for the sport in the country, you would have seen over the past couple of years cricket fans in Jamaica feeling a little bit disgruntled about, you know, the status of cricket and cricket hosting at Sabina Park, you know, an iconic venue in global cricket, and the venue itself run down to some extent. And I'm wondering if you see these developments as a really significant resuscitation of Sabina Park and something that will make the fans happy as you look to rebuild the interest and the attraction of cricket as a sport in the country.
Yes, the lights that you mentioned and the scoreboard are the two major things, but there are a lot of other things that we have been doing and still have to do. Of 105 boxes that we had at Sabina Park, when we took over, only 35 were in working order. So we have had to do a lot of retrofitting of the stands. The seating, a lot of the seats were unsafe for the public to use, so we had to do a lot of welding to get the seats up and running. We have had to do a lot of grill work, because a lot of the grill work also had degenerated, because as you can imagine, these are all done for the, what is it, 2007
Yes.
World Cup? Am I correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Uh-huh.
Yes, and they were not maintained at all. So we had a lot of grill work to do. So we have been doing a lot of stuff. The players' change room that were a little bit run down. Well, I can tell you, and this is the first time I'm publicly saying it, that we have an agreement with courts through the West Indies board to actually come in and retrofit those rooms in exchange for some advertising opportunities during the test match. So we've been doing a lot of things, and I think by the time we get to the Australia tour, a lot of the infrastructure work will have been done. We still have a major problem, and of course we can't touch that now. The outfield is not up to where I would want it to be. I would even say that it is not up to international standards, but I think we'll have to live with that until after the Australian tour, and then we'll tackle the field afterwards. Yeah.
When you say it might not be up to international standards, Mr. President, does that not...
No, it is usable. What I'm saying, it is not to where... Well, let me phrase it another way. International cricket can be played in it, but it's not to where I would want it to be. Having traveled a lot all over the Caribbean and also to England recently and to other countries in the past too, I think we're a little bit behind, and we will have to do something about the playing surface also. But that can't be tackled now. We would not be able to do that and to get the grass to grow, etc., in time for the Australia tour. So I think that will have to be left until after the tour, and then we'll tackle that. You know, we'll have a lot of time on our hands because the next tour will be next year. We have Pakistan next year and probably a part of the Sri Lanka tour also. So between the Australia tour and the Pakistan tour, we hope to have the outfield in a much better place than it is right now.
Yeah, how much of the outfield issues is down to the fact that so many other events are held at Sabina Park, from football to parties and all of that?
That's a part of the problem, but that's something we'll have to live with. The park, we're in a very unique situation in Jamaica. I think we're the only ground in the Caribbean that is not government funded and government maintained. The maintenance of Sabina Park is, for the most part, the responsibility of the Jamaica Cricket Association and to a lesser part Kingston Cricket Club. So we are saddled with a huge responsibility. You can imagine the cost of maintaining a stadium of that size. So we have a problem, and the government has now stepped in and has given us some help to recognizing our problem, have given us some help to get one aspect of the park up to scratch. So we are just hoping that we can continue to work with them to deal with other areas also.
Yeah, and earlier you were mentioning some of the areas that you have had to improve, like the seating, welding of the seats, and so on. But I also want to ask if there is a plan to do a general cleaning of the facility, especially in the stands, the spectator areas. And I ask that question because all of the last few times I have visited Sabina Park, I would say that it is rather unsightly, dirty, to use a clearer word.
Well, yeah, I totally agree with you. Those are very strong words, but you're exactly on target. That has been true in the past, and as we speak, we have started cleaning. So hopefully, not hopefully, but certainly by the time the Australia tour comes around, we will have a much cleaner stadium. I just want to mention to you that for many years we had in our agenda an all sunlight, all Headley match at the end of the schoolboy cricket season. So we're going to restart that. So next Tuesday we'll have a 50 over match on the lights between the all Headley and all sunlight, and then on Wednesday we'll have another all Headley all sunlight game, a T20 game that we will also play. It of course it's also gives us the opportunity to test the light on the playing conditions. The T20 match will be named after that great man, the Honorable Don Webby, who has been instrumental through grace in helping schoolboy cricket for many, many years. Of course, they also help in other areas, track and field, etc. But they have helped schoolboy cricket for in excess of 15 years. So we thought it was appropriate to restart the scheduling. It won't be a one-off thing. I intend to make it a yearly thing on the calendar again. So we are having this game, the T20 match, next Wednesday to honor Mr. Webby. So I hope you'll all be here and to give us some coverage and some promos.
No problem, Mr. President. Back to the lighting at Sabina Park, because I was speaking with my colleagues at the top of the show in regards to the lighting, which was deemed to be, in our opinion, inefficient when it was first unveiled, and even aspects of the boundary line weren't lit. Was it back then the process had begun to get the lights upgraded? Because you at the top of the interview, you said that it has been a long journey. So I'm trying to ascertain how long it has been, and when did the government actually get involved?
Yeah, well, we started the process as soon as we got in, it has been a year now. So we did go to the Ministry of Sports and then eventually to the government and cabinet, and they agreed to give us the funding. Because you can remember, the initial lights that were set up were incandescent lights that only did not give us the loom readings that we wanted to be in an international or up to international standards. But it also used a lot of energy. I mean, those bulbs. So what we have done, we have not only put lights in that can give us the loom readings that we require, but of course we have significant savings in energy usage also. The lights are up, they're on. They should have been focused by now. We could not do it because over the last 2 or 3 days in Kingston and all over Jamaica, we had a lot of wind, very strong winds. So the guys who should have done the focusing could not go up onto the pylons. It would have been unsafe for them to do so. So I hopefully that the wind drops tonight so that they can go up after after dark, turn the lights on and start the focusing. That should take us about 2 days. So by tomorrow, we should have the minimum loom readings that is required for international cricket. There are 3 readings that we need to get. You're right. There's a reading that we have to have on the pitch. Then there's another reading of lower intensity within the 40-yard circle. And then there's another reading which is lower than that now for the periphery of the field. So we're going to do the initial focusing today and tomorrow. And then the company that we bought the lights from in England are then sending their people out with some laser beam to do the final setting of the lights.
All right. So in regards to the maintenance of the lights, though, do you have an idea how much that will cost? Because you've obviously had difficulty in acquiring the funding to upgrade it to what we have now. So have you been able to ascertain the cost of maintaining this product?
The installation up to what we have done now, and inclusive of the final focusing of the lights, is covered in what we got from the government, which is $75 million. We also have a contract with a local supplier, and we have a 5-year guarantee period. Well, a period that covers us for 5 years, that anything that goes wrong with the lights, bulbs going, stuff like that, they'll have to replace them. So for the next 5 years, I don't think we'll have a problem with maintenance.
Yeah, Mr. Bennett, when the government came under pressure ahead of the T20 World Cup for not bidding, the sports minister, Olivia Grange, came out and pledged $1 million over 3 years to support grassroots cricket in the country. And I'm quoting now from the minister where she says 40 out of that 100 million has already been disbursed, and we've started spending from those funds in collaboration with the Jamaica Cricket Association. Are you in a position to say what type of programs that 40 million is being spent on as we speak?
Okay, well, I don't know if we are quoting the minister accurately, because we are in the process now of getting the $40 million. We have gotten a small portion of it to run our under-13 program, because as you know, we now have a grassroots under-13 program, which last December culminated in a Jamaica under-13 team for the first time that actually went on a tour to Trinidad, and we intend to replicate it again this year. So we have applied for the funding because we had to send programs in, because the funding is not for infrastructure work. The funding has been approved and is limited to developmental programs. So we are in the process now of accessing the balance that is owed to us, and hopefully we'll have that soon so that we can get our programs going.
Yeah. So to be abundantly clear, we are in the first year, and you should be receiving 40 of that 100 million in the first year. And how much is it you said that you've gotten already?
I know for sure that we have gotten about $7 million. The minister also gave an allocation to the women's team because, you know, they won the 50 over, not this year, last year. And she had promised them some sort of reward and some sort of function. So I don't know exactly what the cost of that was, but I would imagine that they would have somewhere around $25 million that is left to be dispersed to us.
Do you feel that the disbursement of these funds seem to be coming rather slowly, and would that in any way be affecting your ability to, one, conceptualize your programs, but two, be able to execute them efficiently and in good time?
A good question, but I'm going to sidestep that one because I don't want to upset anybody. We're very grateful for the $75 million that they got to put the lights up, and we are hoping that over the next couple of weeks, we will have access to the rest of the developmental money, as was promised by the Prime Minister and the Minister of Sports. So let us wait and see how that goes over the next couple of weeks.
Okay, Dr. Bennett, great to talk to you here on the SportsMax Zone, and good luck with your lighting testing at Sabina Park next week with the All Headley All Sunlight, a high school all-star game, as you get ready for the Aussies. But we'll be in touch and monitoring the accessing of those funds from the government to get your work done.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Dr. Donovan Bennett there, President of the Jamaica Cricket Association.
No, I'm wondering about the budget, because there could be an argument made that maybe the $75 million wasn't a part of an initial budget in terms of putting it into the infrastructure. If they're actually going to be getting that $100 million, because they were saying the $100 million is for 5 years. That was what the announcement.
For 4 years.
I think it was
Or 3 years.
It's
sorry,
probably
3 years.
Really?
100 million over 3 years. Yes.
But
That's separate from the 75 million for the upgrading of the lights and the scoreboard and so on. That 100 million was specifically for grassroots development of cricket, because the thinking of the government at the time, and still is that it was better to invest in the grassroots level
rather
of the sport
than
in the country,
the T20 World Cup,
rather than bidding for the T20 World Cup and spending all that money at that level. There are many who obviously disagree with that line of reasoning, but yes, that 100 million is very different from the 75 that is put in place to execute the lighting and the scoreboard.
In the upcoming months, we'll see how different it is, because we're already seeing that the money is coming in slowly in terms of that
but it is
initial
different.
investment.
It is different. Whether it is coming in slow or fast, it is different.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go to break. We still have some more cricket to talk about. And cricket, in fact, talking about an iconic venue in Caribbean cricket.